Welcome. Today we're going to be unpacking math standards. Why do we need to unpack math standards? It's to help give us a deeper understanding of the content in which we are supposed to be teaching. We're going to be using the standards today from the South Carolina College and Career Ready Standards for Mathematics from South Carolina's Department of Education. We're going to be using this 5-step process to help us unpack the standard. Step 1 is going to tell us to write the standard. This standard says 3.NSBT.2. This means third grade, number sense, and base 10, and it's the second standard underneath that key concept. So when we write this standard, we're going to write add and subtract whole numbers fluently to 1,000 using knowledge of place value and properties of operations. Step 2 is going to tell us to underline the verbs. So in this case, what are we going to be underlining? That's right, add and subtract. Step 3 tells us to write down what the students are expected to do. And then step 4 says list any specifics telling how it's to be done. So what are my students expected to do? They're expected to add and subtract whole numbers. How are they going to do that? They're going to do that by using place value and properties of operations. They're also expected to add and subtract whole numbers fluently, and they're also expected to have and use their number sense when they're adding and subtracting whole numbers. When I think of the number sense, I'm thinking whether or not they have a reasonable answer based on whether they used estimation, rounding, or compatible numbers. I'm thinking a student's fluent if they have an accurate method that's efficient and flexible. And if I'm looking at adding, subtracting whole numbers using place value or properties of operations, I need to make sure that I'm using maybe the expanded form, the open number line, place value drawings, and then the properties, commutative property, associative property, distributive property. I need to be looking at all of these things when I'm unpacking my standard. Step 5 then tells us to define terms and give examples. So here I'm giving an example of a place value drawing of what it is and what it would look like. So this is the place value drawing, as you notice, based off of base 10 blocks. The problem is 375, and we are subtracting 138. So we drew the place value drawing to represent the 375, and then we were able to take away from the 375 138 to give us our answer of 237. And that's it. So now it's your turn. How are you going to unpack a standard? Follow these 5 simple steps and happy unpacking.